Welcome to the Elite Training Series with Scrapebox Training. This is the lesson regarding trackback for success. Now, some people aren't sure what a trackback is. That's perfectly okay. There are certain types of blogs out there that you can have that allow you to track back. I'll show you an example. This website here is just a blog post, okay? You come down to the comments and it's got all these general comments, okay? And each of these sites allow you to leave a trackback. If you have a look at the name, Kristen Farris has left the trackback or the link behind this, kristenfarris.com, and Marcus Hochstad has left his last name.com as his trackback. You can go down to the bottom and you'll see that you're able to leave a general comment here. So the trackback is the key, that is the power to getting tailored linkbacks to your website based on specific keywords. Now, most people have put in their names. I'm assuming that these people have websites related to their names. So this James guy here, he's left his website as debasics.com, but his linkback is James. Now that's not very worthwhile because we know that through SEO optimization techniques that having a link back to your website is very good, but it's not worth as much, I suppose to say, unless it has a tailored link back. Okay, so the anchor text is essentially a description of your website. It tells the bots what your website is about. That's the idea behind it. There's general proof of this. If you go to Google, okay, and type in click here, what will come up? Okay, what should come up should be a website related to click here, okay? But when we do a Google search, we find that, wait a second, Adobe is the #1 rank for click here. Why? Well, as a matter of fact, if you go on to Adobe's page, they don't mention click here anywhere. It's not their website domain, it's not anything on their web page. So essentially what that says to us is, why are they ranked #1 for click here? And the reason is because, I'm sure you've figured out by now, that so many websites leave linkbacks to Adobe saying click here to download the latest software of Adobe, because you'll need it, you'll need the PDF reader or whatever. And so many websites have linked back to Adobe saying click here, that Google says, okay, this website is about click here. So when you type click here into Google, that's why they show up #1. So if you had a website around apples, and you link back to yourself saying James, you lose a lot of value. Whereas if you link back to yourself saying apples, then when someone Googles apples, you're more likely to show up at top ranks for that anchor or that keyword. Okay, so the idea is you want to get your keywords, you want to make them as trackbacks, and doing that through anchored text. So whenever you post on a trackback, ideally for the name, here's a little trick for you. Okay, instead of just saying apples and leaving a link back to apples.com, sometimes your link won't get accepted or approved because it's clearly a spam. Whereas if a name, I suppose a name looks a little bit more genuine in its post. For using apples as your name, which would show up in the section here, generally the blog owner is going to look at that and say, okay, well, this guy just wants a post to get a link back. It's not a genuine post, unless of course the comment itself is very insightful. So what you do is you might call yourself Apples Guy, or you might call yourself Apples Guru. You make it a nickname of some sort that includes your keyword. So apples. God, I've gone blank here. I'm trying to think. Apples guy, apples girl, apples professional. Anything you want to do, or just even lover of apples, or anything you want. Apples expert of apples. Anything that says apples in it will give you more value than just saying Marcus or, Boyardi, James, Nick, Kristen Farris. These things aren't that valuable unless, of course, they are your website. So what you want to do is you want to go back to Scrapebox. So close this down here. We want to go back to Scrapebox and we want to find Trackback websites. Now the most important thing to do is notice that we don't have a specific way to search for Trackbacks except custom footprint, and you must put this in quoted terms at the top. You can leave a trackback response comma, so you can leave a response comma or trackback. You must have that in inverted quotations. And what Scrapebox will do is it will search for websites where that is anchored text. Any website that says that as anchored text will show it on their website. So if I go back to Google, you can see on this should be blog here. Nope, error. Okay, so just before all the comments on this website, it says you can leave a trackback or response from your own site. This is standard. This is not what the blog owner's typed in. This is standard that comes with this sort of blog. So unless it's changed, this should be imprinted on all the blogs of this sort. So you go back to Google and you could find such blogs through doing this and then post on them. Or you can do that through Scrapebox by putting that text up the top here with custom footprint. Okay, you put in your keywords and then you'll find your URLs. Okay, this is just general scraping and harvesting. We could give this a quick go. And see how many trackbacks we can find related to these keywords. We might find a lot or we might find none. I have no idea. I haven't done this before. Okay, I might just put it on pause and come back when this is completed. Okay, I finished that one off earlier there. We found a few websites that are related to Trackbacks. So these just aren't random blogs. These are all random blogs that allowed Trackbacks. I'll remove duplicate URLs and we're left with 938 unique domains. Now we come back down to the comment poster. You want to make sure you have Trackbacks selected, and then you're only required to put in 3 inputs: your blogs, your Trackback experts, and your blog list. Your blog list obviously comes from transfer URLs to blog list for Trackbacks. Your blogs will come from your site, and Trackback excerpts will come from there. So what I've got here on the side, if you can look over on the left here, is both those inputs. So if excerpts means this specifically, you have your post, and then you have a title above the post. It must be formatted in this way. So these two are not separate comments. This is the title, and this is the comment. This Scrapebox requires you to put it this way. So I've got my general comment, and then I've just written thank you and cheers as my headings. So when I can put those in, and then for your blogs, this is the key bit here. So for your websites, I'm just going to make this up. Here we've got apples.com/freshfruit. You want to have this is basically the name that links back to your site. So this is what you're going to put above there. So you could just put, Jamie Oliver. That could be, that could be your name. Obviously, it's not. So what you want to do is relate it to your keyword. And obviously, this website would be around apples. So I'll say, right, I want my keyword to be related to apples. So what I'll do is say apples guy and apple guru. Okay, I'll save that there, and then I'll load these up, and then we'll start to post. Okay, so these 3 points here are loaded up. We can just easily start our trackbacks, and now we're posting with tailored anchored linkbacks. Now that's extremely valuable. I cannot tell you how valuable it is and how important it is that you use trackbacks. They are so important. Finding trackbacks, find as many as you can, and then link them back to your website, and get those unique domains. You may not get many approvals, you may not be able to find many trackbacks, they are somewhat rarer than like WordPress blogs for example, but there's nothing to stop you looking for them. And if you can do this, you're much more likely to get up to the top for specific keywords. As always, you could run multiple websites, I'll show you here. If you just did a very generic harvest instead of looking for specific URLs, you could go and talk about, mobile phone, so mobile phone guy, and have your website related to mobiles.com or whatever might be your website, and you can have specific key names for each of these websites. Okay, you can do this many times. You just do it a few times and just change the name if you want to do it and mix up the link back, which would probably be a smart thing to do. So mobile expert, mobile guru. Okay, so you just want to make these look a little more friendly than otherwise would be normal. And you could do that for a very generic URL comment post with trackbacks. So we're nearly up there. This is using free proxies. As normal, we're looking to have about a 1/3 success rate, which is nothing fantastic, but trackbacks was completed and we had 234 posts, and they were specifically related to our keywords. So that's fantastic. It's a good result from such a short little harvest there. Obviously, if you do big harvests, there's much more in it for you. On the website, we've got, I think, 216,000 found trackbacks that you can use. It's a small price to pay for the amount of time it would take you to find that amount. So if you think your time's worth it, definitely consider getting it. There's a limited number of packages available before we take it off the shelf though. So I hope you've enjoyed the lesson and get started using trackbacks. Jump on Scrapebox and start finding them. And best of luck. Thanks for tuning in. Next lesson, look forward to seeing you then.